YouTube, what's going on? Wanye Films, back with another tutorial. Today I'm going to be naming off 2 ways on how to better compose your next shot. Let's get into it. Alright guys, as always, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you always get notified every time I post a new video. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. That's what it's all about, right? Likes, comments, subscribe. Let's go, let's grow. Alright, so as I noted in the beginning, this video is all about composition and framing. But yeah, this happens to be something that I myself still struggle with, so I can only give you as much as I know. I'm gonna break it down to you as simple as possible, starting with this. Right now, I'm gonna tap into 2 ways on how to frame your subject for better composition. What I'm going over is the rule of thirds and leading lines. What is that, you may ask? Well, to better describe it, just think of it as rules that should never be broken. I'm just kidding, rules are made to be broken. But if you're gonna break them, just make sure you learn the rules first before you feel it's necessary to break them. The rule of this is to place your subject off center to create a more pleasing visual. In camera, there's a rule of third grid that will divide your shot into 9 separate squares. Theory has it, if you place your subject on either the right or left intersecting line, you will create a more pleasing frame within your image. Yesterday, John and I went out shooting at sunset. By the way, sunrise and sunset are 2 of the most pleasing times of the days to get out and shoot, for the reason that it gives off such a soft light. If you try to shoot at noontime, the lighting is just going to be so harsh that it's not even going to look pleasing. As you can see right here, I am perfectly lined up with the intersecting lines. That was because I was framed well, and in turn gives you a better point of view. If I were to be placed right in the center of the frame, it wouldn't give you much to think about. Your eyes would not wander much, if any. The goal is to be able to lead your eyes throughout the frame. If your eyes are not guided throughout the frame, you may become very bored with just watching something dead smack in the middle of your screen. That is why it is very important to use the rule of thirds. If you were to watch a Hollywood movie right now, more than likely you would notice the rule of thirds being used. Another reason you would line your subject up at the intersecting lines is to avoid giving your subject too much headroom. Giving your subject too much headroom will become very awkward, and it will create what we call dead space above your subject's head. If you were to leave too much headroom, this would be a shot that screams out amateur when you watch it. You don't want to cut off the top of your subject's head either, unless you absolutely have to. For instance, it is allowed to be used in extreme close-ups. If you are trying to focus on someone's eyes, or maybe give emphasis on words that are coming out of your subject's mouth. Right here, you will see I cut off some of John's head to focus more on the subject that is in his hand. If this was a wider shot and I was further away and I cut his head off, it would take away from the subject that is in his hand. But not only that, your mind will pick up that something doesn't look right here. You may not pinpoint what it is, but something will not feel right. The rule of thirds is a rule for a reason, but that's not to say that you always have to follow this rule. Do whatever you like. If that's what you want to do, then do it. If you don't want to follow the rules, it's completely up to you, but these are rules to better composition. If you don't want better composition, don't use it. But in the photography and videography world, if you are trying to go further with it, it is a must that you learn composition and framing. Not only that, but along with that, also lighting. When people ask me about what I would recommend them do first before anything, well, of course, get a camera. But the next thing after that, strictly focus on lighting and composition. Lighting, composition. Lighting, your composition. The way you frame things is everything. When I first picked up a camera and started doing videos, obviously I was a beginner, so that's why I'm bringing this video to you guys today, because it's one of those things that you're not even gonna know about it unless somebody tells you about it. That's why I'm here to let you guys know about it. Moving on to the second topic I want to touch on, and that is leading lines. When is it okay to center your subject and not use the rule of thirds? When you're using symmetry to guide your eyes to the most important thing in the frame, the subject. We use leading lines to guide your eyes to the subject to better tell our story. Of course, breaking rules and centering your subject is not always the end goal, but if you have to break the rule, try to find leading lines to help navigate your eyes throughout the shot. Right here is a perfect example on how we use symmetry to guide you to the subject in the frame. Using the railings as leading lines, your eyes are now guided to the main subject in the frame, which is me. It's like the railings are saying, hey, look at this guy over here with all this stuff in his hand. So by looking at this shot, you see that by placing something in the middle of the frame and using leading lines to guide you to that subject is better than just placing somebody in the middle of a shot with nothing there. Do you know why people find other people attractive? Pattern recognition. The way our mind picks up on patterns in people's features is the same way your mind will pick up in photography with composition and framing. Whether you use the rule of thirds or leading lines or even the golden rule, all these things are made up of a type of pattern that will help better compose your image. Now that you know a little bit more about composition and framing, will you use these tips in your next shoot? Again, it's one of those things that you have to be thinking about when you're out there. If you don't have it set in your mind, you need to add good compositions to your photos. It may be one of those things that you overlook when you get out there to get a shot, especially if you're trying to get a fast shot. For instance, me doing weddings, everything's going so fast. Everything has a time and place. Everything is scheduled and done in order, and it's constantly fast. So sometimes it's one of those things that you just want to get the shot done and over with. One of those things when you're a beginner, you have to know, you have to think about it. It has to be on your mind, or you're just going to get out there and get some pretty not so good looking shots. So like I mentioned, it's if you do weddings, you just got to be quick. If you are doing weddings, if you're doing concerts, be quick. Music videos, not so hard. Everything is staged. Everything is staged with music videos. You have your time. If you're out there shooting, it's because you have time to be out there shooting. That could even be a time crunch. There may be times where you're out shooting and you have a venue or a certain place that you have to be out by. Even that comes down to being on a time crunch. Just use these tips that I give you, and trust me, you're gonna be coming back and thanking me down in the comments. Speaking of comments, guys, drop some comments down below. I want you to drop the camera emoji. If you don't want to even, I want you to drop some questions so I can put them out in the next video. I've already got a few questions, but not enough to make another Q&A. So if you leave some questions down below, let me know that you've made it here, you've made it this far in the video, then I will shout you out in the next Q&A that I have. But for this video right here, this is pretty much a wrap. I appreciate you guys. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you could tell, but I am framed up on the rule of thirds right now. Not to say that you always have to do that. In YouTube videos, if you're doing tutorials, it may even be better for you to center yourself, because you're talking to somebody. You're not talking to somebody over here. I'm talking directly to you. So if I was to talk directly to you, I do it all the time. I center myself up all the time, but I just happen to do it this way for the sake of this video, so you can see that how it looks when you frame it up to the rule of thirds. All right, guys, that is a wrap. If you like this video, if it helped you in any type of way, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Leave some comments down below like I mentioned. If you don't want to ask a question, don't ask a question. Just leave a comment. Any comment will do. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.